What's going on? What's going on, everybody out there watching right now? Welcome to the stream. Y'all know what time it is. It is Friday, November the 6th. Stream day, live stream Fridays. If you can do so, if you haven't done so already, please like the stream. Also, please share the stream as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Let me go ahead and share this on my various other platforms. So we can get more people in here. But welcome everybody to the chat or to the stream. Welcome everybody who is in the chat. We have a lot to discuss today. A lot has gone on this week. So you already know one topic of discussion, but we're going to save that for the end. Because that right there is deserving to stay in its own little slot. Let's see, who do we have in here? Maximus Royalty, Peaches J, On One Dulce. I might have to go to my app because it's kind of hard for me to read those names on the screen. Let's see, we got Ashen, Vulcan 54, the Leah 2344, Tucson Erickson. No, I don't sell any apparel at the moment, Tucson. Tawana Cook. I don't know why I said On One Dulce, but I meant to say Oni Dulce, excuse me. Nathan Daniel, Alana, Isaiah, Jamal Bay, K-Ba, Darlene, live from NYC. What's going on? What's going on? As y'all know, last week I didn't do a live stream, but I had warned y'all and told y'all I wasn't going to do a live stream last Friday because I was going to be preoccupied during that time, so I wasn't going to be able to live stream that day. But I definitely left y'all some videos to watch. But I am back like I never left. Let's see who else we got in here. Mark Stewart, Rain Love, Rella D, Purple Rain. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How was everybody's week besides the obvious? Because we already can see who right now is not having such a good week right now. We can already see that. But we're going to talk about that. Let's see who else we got in here. Black Suede 1. Malika Dawson. Oh, Malika Dawson. I'm sorry. What's going on, Gnome King? Yes, make sure if you have not done so already that you hit that like button and share the stream. Because I want as many people to catch this. I don't want anybody saying, oh, I missed it, and you know, this, that, and the third. Even though I know that's going to happen, but it is what it is. But I'm glad that everybody's week, for the most part, is going well. But like I said, it's certain people in particular whose week is not going so well. Marcus Bowen, you said you're entertaining. Oh, it has been quite entertaining. It's definitely been that. It has definitely been that. Java Mation Studio said that their day is going good. Well, that's good to hear. What's going on, Butter Pecan? Probably get started in a couple more minutes. Yep, but a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened this week. Most of it happened on Tuesday and still lingering on to today. What's going on, Pisces the King? Outstanding innovation. Jay Walker, what's going on? What is going on? Alana, you said your week is okay, but your family in New York haven't called, so I'll have to call them. Okay, well, take care of that. Family always comes first. We are VR virtual reality. Yes, there Yes, there is a lot to discuss. And it's crazy because a lot of stuff got lost within, everything that happened on Tuesday. That's why I'm saving that, the election portion of what I'm going to talk about, I'm saving that for the end and getting through all the other topics first. Vulcan 54, you said it was okay other than this election that's got everyone going nuts. Yeah, people are losing their minds. But isn't that what the Joker said in The Dark Knight? Marcus, you said, am I crazy to believe that if Trump does lose, it's to slow down the rise of black people hitting the streets with a quote unquote symbolic gesture in Biden's win? They've already started it. But I'm going to talk about that when I get to the election portion of my stream. Okay, it's 4:09. I'm going to get started at 4:10. So we got like less than a minute. I was a little bit late coming on. I was about maybe like 2 minutes late getting started. What's going on, Papa D? You said, Noam King, you said, I can't believe they are expecting election violence. Why is that? They've already said what they said what they was planning on doing prior to the election. What's going on, talking and grubbing media? Live from NYC, you said my ballot is still at home. All right, it is officially 4:10, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with these topics. Let's see. The first one I have up is probably the first thing that happened earlier this week before all of this election stuff, and that is the death of Sean Connery. Uh, Most notably known, world-renowned actor, but most notably known for being the first James Bond in the 007 movies. I think it all kicked off with I forgot when the first Bond. It came out in the '60s, and I think he ran that part all the way through the early '70s before Roger Moore had took over. He passed away last week or last weekend. I think it was last. I think he was it Halloween when he died. I think he died on the 31st, and he was 91 years of age. Um, Definitely an icon. If I had to say my two favorite movies by him outside of the James Bond franchise, I would have to say it would have to be Finding Forrester and A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I would have to say those would be the two movies outside of the Bond series that I did like by him. But of course, he's always going to be linked to being the first James Bond to don that mantle, and of course, it spawned the other ones following for. And I think Roger Moore was the first James Bond actor to die. He passed like a couple years ago, and then Sean Connery, he's the next one. And I think the thing that made him distinguishing is he had that voice. He had a very distinguishing sounding voice. But yeah, Sean Connery and I'll say this: he had his pick of the litter. If y'all know what I mean, he definitely. If y'all get what I mean and can read what I'm saying, he definitely had his pick of the litter. But I remember it was a comment that he had made back in the '80s or something like that. I think about slapping women. When I found out he had passed, one of the first tweets that I saw on Twitter was from one of those PC feminists. Was like R.I.P. to Sean Connery, and 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 we have not forgotten about that quote that you made saying that you was slapping, or you would slap a woman or slap a woman or slap women or something like that. But notice it kind of went way under the radar. I didn't even know he made that comment. Oh, you said you liked them in the Rock. Yeah, that was a good movie as well. That was a good movie as well. Exactly, Ashton. I couldn't think what his background was. I forgot that he's not of British descent. He does have a Scottish background, and he did have to do a British accent, which probably was difficult to do because it's like you're clashing two different accents at one time. He said, "I remember when PC lost their mind when they thought the new James Bond was going to be black. Yeah, because they was campaigning hard for Idris Elba to be the next James Bond, but you know how that went. You know it is what it is. But R.I.P. to definitely to an icon, definitely to a legend in this in that industry. I can't really say I really ever heard him about being in any kind of scandals or any thing like that. At least none that I heard of. But let me move on to the next topic, and that's this incident right here that happened in Atlanta at this sushi restaurant. Now I don't have the video available, but many of you by this time have already seen the video because the incident happened last week. It's just that I'm getting around to it now. But what's going on, S Wiseman? Again, shout out to everybody who is just now coming into the chat. Make sure y'all go ahead and like the stream, share it as well. But you had this incident that happened at this sushi restaurant down in Atlanta. I think it was called Umi Sushi or some kind of sushi bar or something like that, where you had this black man right here that you can see on the right side with the white top on, or like a light gray colored top on. He's talking to what appears to be, I guess, the owner of the restaurant. And they basically said that he can't come into the restaurant because he had these sneakers on. And as you can see in the picture on the left, they zoomed in on it and circled to make sure y'all saw what sneakers he had on. And it was like this one big back and forth between him and the owner. But then they made sure to point out that it was a white lady at the bar who also had on some sneakers as well that was the same exact color as his. So basically now they pretty much got exposed as it being more so of a racial incident. This reminds me of the story that happened in Baltimore a couple months ago when you had this black woman and her child going to a restaurant, and they didn't want to let the woman and her son in there because the son had on what they call athletic wear. But when they panned the camera, they saw this little white boy walking past them, or in the background, literally had on the same exact, from head to toe, maybe from head to leg, outfit. I think the only different thing that the boy had on was the shoes. And of course, they got flack from that as well. We all know what the deal is. And then of course, you had that incident where you had that Asian out in Arizona had called that black YouTuber the N-word and said he's a proud racist and everything like that. But we pretty much moved away from that because he pretty much came out and forgave that guy. Why? I have no clue. I have no clue. Butter Pecan said, I can't understand with all of the black restaurants in ATL why go to them Asians. I don't know. But I'm actually glad that this happens because guess what? Now, well, we can only hope that it can make them lose business. You got to hit them in them pockets. Because see, that's all people like that understand is money. You take away their money, then you take away their business, and then they leave, and what can they do? But it was a big thing because it started off in the restaurant, then it led outside, and then you had other people outside, people who weren't even involved, getting in their business. Like, I don't know. What's going on, Tonda? That's another thing I hate is like when you are trying to deal with issues going on, and you have outside people trying to interject their way into this thing. And you can tell what they were trying to do. This is textbook racism right here. What they'll do is they will try to talk to a black person in a very calm tone, because they know it doesn't take much a lot of times, unless we really, really are centered, to get us riled up. And they'll try to get us riled up to make it seem like they're the one that's in the victim mode, and that we are the ones that are attacking them. And that's what this Asian owner of this sushi bar was trying to get this black guy to do. He was trying to get him to act out of character. What's going on, Sean from the Shy? I bet T.I. did get into it. T.I. always finds a way to get into something whenever something happens in Atlanta. What's up, Art? But yeah, what they'll try to do is they'll try to escalate it so they can be put into the victim position. Princess Lolita says, didn't one of them try to attack this black guy's wife? They probably did. And I have to give kudos to her, because she was calm the entire time. She had his back, but she was calm. She wasn't popping off at the mouth. She let her husband take care of his business. And that's what a lot of women need to start doing. When your husband or your spouse or whoever you are there with, let that man take care of his business like a man, and stop jumping in there, because you're going to make it worse. She stood there and let him handle his business like a man. And I wouldn't be surprised if that Asian owner was going to try to get her to get out of character. What's going on, the My Voice channel? Noma 7 says she's a DA. Well, if she is a DA, then he has someone good in his back pocket that can, take care of this. I hope that he sues this restaurant. And deals with that accordingly. So you said the owner did try to attack the wife. Oh, well, in that case, now you really have a case for attempted assault. Because now you went from racial bias to attempted assault. He must have thought he was inside of a beauty supply store that day. And y'all know why I said that. But again, don't think for one single solitary second that other communities outside of PC cannot be racist to black people. We've seen that quite a bit this year. And this is probably the second occasion that we know of that we've seen publicly where Asians have been known to have been exposed as doing that we've seen. Well, the third, if you count that Asian terrorist that was involved with the murder of George Floyd. Tanya, you said what got me is that the owner had on tennis shoes himself. Talk about hypocrisy. It wasn't the shoes. I think we can all come to a consensus that it wasn't the shoes that was the reason that they wanted him out of the restaurant. They always have they always have to implement some kind of a dress code when it comes to black people. Not saying that the restaurant shouldn't have a dress code. If this is their what their style is, okay, follow it. But I noticed that when it comes to us, even if we do follow it, it's always something there they got to nitpick about. The same thing with these schools. Like they always, and when it comes to the schools, it's usually not even the clothes, it's the hair. Oh, your hair, you got a part in your hair. It looks like you're in a gang. Oh, your hair's all over the place. Oh, most likely because it's in its natural state. And then you get kids kicked out of school and all kinds of things. I've done so many videos about it, it's not even funny. And it can be neat, but they'll still find a way. Or the famous one, the locks. But yeah, it wasn't those shoes. It wasn't the shoes. Exactly, Solo though. He says that's they actually enforce it when it comes to us. And then when it comes, and then once it gets into mainstream media, you already know they're gonna distort the actual imagery of it and try to make it seem like it's the black person's fault. See, I'm just reading the comments, y'all. It feels like I'm not saying anything. I'm just reading the comments. But yeah, you know what? I'm almost certain. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say that this guy does support black-owned business. Hopefully, he does, especially considering where he's at. But maybe he just wanted to switch it up that day, and maybe he's been to that restaurant before and he's never had that issue. He's probably been at this spot before and never had an issue, but this day he got into it with someone who had an issue with him. I'm gonna be honest. Had it been me and I was in that position, I would have been so petty. I probably would have been the one to tell the people don't eat here. They got the woo woo. That would have had them people scattered out there like roaches when the lights come on. That probably would have been me. Just being honest. All right, let me go ahead and move on to the next story. And that's this opioid plague and what's going on in Oregon. So shout out to Lisa Cabrera, because she actually did a video about this, I think last week, where in Oregon, they have officially made it legal to, well, they have decriminalized hardcore drugs. So basically, like cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, and all kinds of stuff like that. They have decriminalized it, and to the point where it's like you can pretty much go ahead and just be free reign with it and just do what you want. I'm gonna just put it like this: Oregon is going to end up looking like The Walking Dead mixed with World War Z when this thing is all said and done. You think Ohio was something? Wait until Oregon, you know what happens with them with this. But it's amazing that what's going on, Makia? It's amazing that they want to decriminalize these hardcore drugs. Thank you, Alana, because I wasn't sure what the name of the actual policy was, or the bill. It was called Measure 110. That's what I was trying to think of the actual name of it, but it is called Measure 110. That's what the bill is called, or the legislature is called. And it's amazing because they're doing it, of course, because of who's affected right now. If this was mainly black people, they would not have done this. They wouldn't have done it. They could have, but they didn't. Like I said, black people only got two options: jail or death. Those were our only two options. But now that it's affecting them, now they want to decriminalize all those major drugs. And like I said, everything has a domino effect. Everything has a ripple effect. So it's going to start in Oregon and it's going to trickle down to other states. As a matter of fact, to go back to another video Lisa did, in New Jersey, they have officially made marijuana legal. So now they can just smoke weed and they don't even have to have medicinal purposes to smoke it. Another, I guess you can say, substance that black people, for the most part, got heavily imprisoned for. And some are still locked up and got years. I'm talking about years that they will give murderers and rapists. And mind you, I don't know about you, but last time I checked, weed can't kill you. For the most part, for most people, it relaxes you. So now New Jersey got that. But you know, I think it was Colorado was one of the first states to do it. And of course, that's going to have a trickle down effect, and then other states are going to soon follow as well. I said, well, in that case, then shouldn't the dealers not be going to jail then? If you're going to put it like that. But guess what? Even with Oregon doing this Measure 110 and you know all of that stuff with Oregon, it's still not going to slow down the process. Now you've actually amplified it. It's about to increase. It's about to increase. Jamal, you posted a link where it says the opioid plague cost the economy $2.5 trillion. Talk about a real drain on the economy. That's a lot of money. And most of it is probably due to people going to or trying to get them into rehab. Tell you some of the most biggest drug dealers are the ones who wear those white coats in those pharmaceutical companies. But yeah, they're gonna be dropping like flies. They're gonna be dropping like flies even more than they already are right now. And I'll still feel nothing at the end of the day. I wonder how much more money that's gonna cost. Because you know it's gonna put a dent in Oregon's personal state economy by them doing this. And you know what it is, because they don't want to see too many PC individuals in jail behind it, as if many of them were in there to begin with. They gave them what, safe injection sites and rehab and clinics. What prison were they in? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, I think last week or the week before I did a video about a man out in one of those Midwestern states who got life in prison because of the drugs he was dealing throughout the dark web. And I think he was like the only PC male I actually saw get hard time behind this. Stephanie, I'm going to try to keep that in mind for when I get to the election part of my stream. Oh yeah, right. I'm glad you said that. Talking to Grubbin, the Narcan, to give that costs money too. A lot of money. I forgot. A lot of money does come from that. Then they got to pay the people to work at those safe injection sites. So we'll see. But it is definitely going to be worse before it ever gets better. Well, let me go on to the next topic. In this SNL skit, I'm not going to try to stay on this one for too long. So SNL just recently did a skit this past Saturday where they had Kenan Thompson portray Ice Cube. And they had him wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Even though we all know Cube has come out and said on so many occasions that he was not a 45 supporter. But something told me that they was going to try and be slick about this because he had attached himself to 45's cabinet, or well, not cabinet, but his people when it came to the contract with Black America. And then I'm not sure who the other person is portraying, but I know they portraying Lil Wayne. The one on the right portraying Lil Wayne is actually a little bit more accurate because he actually came out and said that he endorsed him. Now, if they would have had him be 50 Cent or something like that, then it would have been much more understandable because 50 Cent came out and said he actually supported him. But Ice Cube didn't come out and say that he supported him, nor did we ever see him wearing a MAGA hat, like ever. He just said, look, I'm meeting with 45 to talk about this plan and see if something can be done. But it also doesn't surprise me that they got Kenan Thompson to do it either. Kenan Thompson has changed a whole lot since his Kenan and Kel, what's the other show? All That in Good Burger days. And not for the better, in my honest opinion. Like, he just has no problem throwing people under the bus. But I don't watch SNL anyway. I was more of an In Living Color Mad TV person. That was more of my tone right there. That's what I really liked actually talking about, or not talking about, watching. Because in my opinion, those shows were funnier than SNL. I'm sure at one point SNL was funny, and people would say that SNL was funny when Eddie Murphy was on it, and I can believe that. But Kenan will eventually one day get his moment as well. They always do. Because what did they say about the tools? Let me move on to the next one. Like I told you, I wasn't going to stay all day on that one. All right. Let's talk about this Johnny Depp situation. And shout out to you, Beverly White, for the super chat. She said safe injection sites. America wanted to sell drugs all along. America been selling drugs. That's actually one of their biggest hustles. But let's talk about this Johnny Depp situation right here. So I was actually only going to cover one thing involving Johnny Depp, which was one of the most recent things, but something else today, like today, just came out. But I'm gonna talk about the first part first. So Johnny Depp, in case y'all didn't hear, he lost his suit against this UK media outlet. I'm not exactly sure on what exactly type of media it is, but it was a media outlet in the UK that put out this, I guess you can almost say at this point it was a hit piece, that he was abusing his, I guess you can say, ex-wife, Amber Heard, who is the woman in the picture next to him. I call her the Sea Witch. Shout out to You Know King for the super chat. He says the worst part of this with people dragging Cube is the fact that he came to the Democrats first and they wouldn't even listen to him. Right. But he lost his suit against this UK media outlet that basically said that Johnny Depp was abusing Amber Heard and hitting her and all types of things like that, and he basically sued them for libel, for slander, that that it wasn't true. But he ended up losing it. The judge basically ruled against it, and that was pretty much it. And it doesn't look good for him. It doesn't look good for his case. Because now what people can say is that, oh, he lost this case, so now it looks like he's been lying, and Amber Heard might have been telling the truth. Let me tell y'all something. Amber Heard, aka the Sea Witch, is probably one of the most disgusting people in the world. Like the details, and I think I did a video about that months ago when those details had came out. That, with the feces in the bed and the spitting and she's trifling. Let me put it like that. She's trifling. right, Alana. She said the same. Oh, it was the Sun. That was the name of the. I heard of the Sun. She said the same people that started calling Michael Jackson Wacko Jacko. Mm. But he lost that suit right there. But something else just came out today. So Johnny Depp was in this movie or in this franchise, The Fantastic Beasts, which, by the way, if you didn't know, is a prequel to the Harry Potter series. They've already had two movies. I think Johnny Depp was only in one of them, which was the second one. And they are about to do, they're actually in production right now for the third one. Well, it just came out today that Johnny Depp got fired from that movie while in production. He got fired from that movie while in production. Mind you, he also was attached to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which really launched his career more so in the early 2000s and even going, on throughout the decade. He ended up losing that position as well because of her. Now, I didn't watch the Fantastic Beasts movies. I did watch the Harry Potter franchise. Now, here's the kicker. The Fantastic Beasts franchise and Aquaman, which Amber Heard is still, as far as I know, currently a part of, are both attached to Warner Brothers. I said this. If y'all can fire Johnny Depp behind her hearsay, then she needs to be fired from Aquaman for actually doing what she did. Appreciate you, Noam King. Says, I never liked Amber Heard ever since that role I seen her play in the movie Never Back Down. Those who have seen it know what I mean. I never seen it, and at this point where I stand with her, I never will. Now, I will say this. Aquaman was a very good movie. I liked Aquaman. I actually did a review for it. It's actually on this channel. And I actually gave kudos to her character. However, I will not be going to watch the second Aquaman movie if she has any type of attachment to it. I don't care if they say they are going to reduce her role or if they're going to give her a cameo, whatever. I don't want to see her in it. The movie could probably be one of the best movies they'll put out that year or one of the best movies to come out for Warner Brothers. But if she's in it, no matter how good the story may be, I will not go watch it. Point blank, period. And to be quite honest, because Johnny Depp has a way bigger fan base than her and all the stuff that has come out about her and the stuff that she's done and the stuff that she has said, I feel like I will not be alone in that sentiment. I have a feeling more people will not go watch it either. So the people at Warner Brothers better heed the warning and not put her in the movie. Besides, it's not like they can't replace her. It's not like they can't recast her. Pop Respond one game says, "Oh, the Snyder Cut of the Justice League." I wasn't planning on watching that, to be quite honest. So I'm out of that. I wasn't gonna watch that anyway. I did watch the original Justice League, and it was left a lot to be desired. J Animation Studios, he said, "Do you plan on talking about the 45 supporters stop the count?" That's all going to be talked about in the election part of my stream. I haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, if she's in it, I'm not watching it. But like I said, I have a feeling I'm not alone in that aspect. Many people will not go watch it if she's in it. And like I said, she could be recast. They can find anybody else to play her character, and I'll be fine with that. As long as she can act and do the part, I'm fine with that. But if she's in it, I'm not watching it. But let me go on to the next story. And we're going to the UK. We're headed across the pond right now. And y'all can pretty much see where I'm headed with that if y'all can see on your screen to the right of the screen. So, a shout out to Power Spy One Games. This is also the Sun newspaper is owned by Rupert Murdoch. The same one who owns Fox News. No surprise there. But in the UK, and actually starting today, how ironic, they are going into their second lockdown. Boris Johnson, who is the prime minister over in the UK, had announced last week that the UK will be headed into their second lockdown. Alana, I know you're in the chat right now, so I know you can pretty much confirm that. But I think they said that that they're going into their second lockdown. And Power Spy on One Game, yeah, you're over in the UK as well. I should have known because of the way that you sent that super chat. It was through the pound and not the dollar. But yeah, they're going into another lockdown, and this time it's going to the for a month. Alana, you said it was yesterday? Okay. So y'all been in a lockdown for like a little over 24 hours. So yeah, they said they're going into a lockdown for a month. It's going to start, like Alana said, yesterday and run through, I think, the first week of December. And to be quite honest, I will not be surprised if they do it again over here. How long it'll be, I'm not entirely sure. Ashton, you said Boris Johnson is the Trump of the UK. I've heard that plenty of times. I've heard that so many times. It's crazy because they almost look alike. They look like they both go to the same hair salon. Let's see, he said Germany, Belgium have already planned their lockdown as well. And Lisa did a video on it. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna happen. So you said to December 2nd. I kind of figured that was gonna happen though. I think a lot of places are going to have another round of it, but I don't think that the quarantine or the lockdown process is going to be as long or as extensive as it was earlier in the year. A month compared to how long was it? Was it March, April, May, parts of June? 3.5 months? So I don't think it's gonna last as long, but they have to do what they feel they have to do. But it also shows you right there that they're not doing any better than we are over here. Of course, over here, our numbers are astronomically high because we have some hard-headed people over here. But they got to do it. They have to do it. Solo Dolo, you said, I imagine a 12-week shutdown for the U.S. soon. And the one reason I think people are saying that it could possibly be another lockdown here in the States is because of the weather, the seasons, I should say. We're currently in fall. This is the first time we are dealing with this virus in the fall. And then winter will be approaching. Winter, I think the first official day of winter is at the end of November. So this will be our first time dealing with this virus in cold weathers, and flu season is upon us. So you already know what that means. You combine flu season with this, it's gonna be crazy, or crazier. And then it's the holiday season, so people gonna want to go out and shop and everything like that. Because, some people may have to get some stuff from in the store that they can't get from Amazon or any kind of other online site that they choose to shop at. Rick Cass said, winter is coming. Game of Thrones warned us. Every time I hear that phrase, winter is coming, I always think of Game of Thrones. Every time. Thanks for the correction, Isaiah. He says winter starts in December. And now thinking about it, it does start in December. Because I'm about to say that'll be a very short fall if it started in November. Now, as far as the U.S. goes, if we go into another lockdown, I don't know how long it'll be. But all I know is this. This lockdown will have come at a very interesting time, which segues me into the part that many people have been here to want to hear me talk about. And that's this election. The reason I said that is because people are already in the streets acting a fool. as we speak with this election, if you want to call it that. I literally have called it this election because I'm going to be quite honest. There will never, ever be or has ever been an election like this election. Shoot, this one right here is so far as far as chaos is outpacing 2000 with Bush and Gore, in my honest opinion. As far as I'm concerned, this one is outpacing Bush and Gore of 2020 years ago. And we remember what happened with that. That thing lasted a whole month. I remember, because that was at the time when that was the last time they used paper ballots. And it was that whole thing with not Karen, see, y'all about me saying Karen, with Florida at the time. Speaking of Kanye West, live from NYC, that guy got like 50,000 votes. I'm shocked. Appreciate you, Solo Dolo. He said, whoever wins, wins. At this point, yeah. But right now, it's looking like creepy Jim Crow Joe, Mr. Touchy Feely, is going to be the one that's going to pull out that dub. That's what it's looking like from where I'm sitting. But I think they're just dragging this out because of ratings. Like, they're trying to get ratings and everything like that. Jason Black has said this on Twitter. He said this is like political theater. And that's really all I can like look at it as. Because I remember on Tuesday, I did follow along, and when it was initially getting started and everything like that. And I went into that day saying they are not going to have a president re-elect or a president elect on that day. I said they're going to drag this out. They're going to drag this out. They're not going to choose a president elect or a president re-elect on that day. It's going to be dragged out. They're even talking about something like some places, they probably won't have their stuff together until next week. It's Friday, and the election, the actual day, was on Tuesday. I said that this thing is almost as draining as OJ's trial back in 1995. And mind you, back in 95, I was only 6. So I've had a very limited memory of it. Now, of course, my parents and older people will be able to tell you exactly how that day went down. But last I checked, Joe Biden has 253 and Trump had 213. And they're really pushing for Joe Biden to get Pennsylvania, so he can get the 20 electoral votes, and that'll put him over 270. So they're really pushing for PA, and I think they said GA as well as a backup. I think he just got Wisconsin today. But yeah, it's a madhouse. It is crazy. But you want to know what's even more crazy about this whole thing? Is not even 45 and Joe Biden. It's their supporters that have lost their damn minds. More so 45, more than anything. They have lost whatever, if you want to say, is up here. It's gone. If it was ever there. I mean, one of the funniest things I've heard was that Paula White, that evangelical chick, talking about she was going to send angels over here from Africa to come bless this nation in hopes that that 45 gets a re-election. I've never heard anything so crazy in my life as it pertains to an election. And she said it so aggressively, which is what makes it that much funnier. Like, wow. And then on top of that, I'm going to share something with y'all. They actually so far, and this is coming from NPR, they actually have a response to the voters, like people who voted for Biden and people who voted for 45. They said in response for the white category of PC, share of voters, they were 74%, 43% of them voted for Biden, and 55% of them voted for Trump. Under black, 11% share of voters, 90% voted for Biden, and 8% voted for Trump. Latino or Hispanic, share of voters 10%, 63% voted for Biden, and 35% voted for 45. Asian, 2% share of voters, 70% voted for Biden and 28% voted for 45. American Indian, Native American, or Alaska Native, less than 1%. 45% voted for Biden and 52% voted for 45. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, less than 1%. 36% voted for Biden and 59% voted for 45. Other, 3%. 51% voted for Biden and 44% voted for 45. Blasian Pikachu said, I think something is fishy going on with these mail-in ballots. You want to know what's so crazy about the mail-in ballots? Wasn't it 45 back in, was it September, when the idea of mail-in ballots was going to happen because of the virus and people scared to actually go out and vote in person? Wasn't it he that, was trying to get these mailboxes removed, with the postmaster and all types of stuff, and that whole thing, that whole kick dust up at that time? How's that working out for him now? That's what I'd like to know. How is that working out for him now? And based on things that I've already looked up and read and saw other people talk about when it comes to this, is the establishment has gotten everything out of 45 in these 4 years that they need from him. Probably a little bit more than they want. Bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Now they're done with him. He's in their eyes, he has worn out his welcome. And now they're ready to toss him aside. And you know what's even more funnier? You had Mitch McConnell, who, by the way, got back in his seat, but that's no surprise, has said that Obama was going to be nothing more than a one-term president. That man entered in 2008 and got out in 2016. Now it looks like 45 might be a one-term president. But also on a good note, Kim Klacik, she lost her position. Or, well, not her position because she never had it to begin with. She lost the race. Like I knew she would. And let me tell y'all, when I did that video on Kim Klacik, I learned so much in that comment section about her personal life that just kind of blew me away. And I'm going to mention some of it right now. Like, for instance, I found out that, yes, she is married. And her husband is PC. But I also found out that her husband is 20 years older than her. Yes, Kim Klacik, I think, is 38. And her husband is 58. And not only that, apparently her husband has quite a chocolate fetish, if you get what I mean. We're going to talk about that, K-Bot. I made sure to send that video to myself because I want y'all to see that display of, But yeah, apparently he has a fetish with chocolate because he has 5 other children before her, and all of them were from black women. She, as far as I'm concerned, is just the fetish that he put a ring on. Because now, apparently, I think they think she has a child with him that's like 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, he has 6 kids now because he has one with her. And the way I found this stuff out was when people put it in the comment section. And then she did a interview with Tariq back in 2015. And she actually said all of this in that video, in that interview. Shout out to you, See Truth the Revelation, that's talk about Sugar Daddy. That's basically what he is. Like, when I pulled up his picture, I was like, wow, this guy looks old. Now, I don't know about the part about her being a stripper. People keep saying that she used to strip. But let me put it to you like this. If it is true that she used to strip, then wouldn't that mean that, and now I'm not saying that this could be, but by their standards and the way they propped her up, wouldn't Cardi B be a good candidate? Because didn't Cardi B used to strip? But they said she had no business talking to Joe Biden. But you have Kim Klacik, who allegedly used to strip, and she's supposed to come in and fix Baltimore. But because she's black, she's a female, and she's a quote unquote conservative, and I'm going to get onto a quote that she said, she's good in their book. And yes, he does own, I think he does own a strip club. He may own a couple. Now, in her interview that she did with Tariq, she said she is fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Let me say that again. In her interview that she did with Tariq back in 2015, she says she is socially liberal and fiscally conservative. I think we all know what she was really saying when she said that. Appreciate you, Kevin, for the super chat. He says too much chocolate. Yeah, he OD'd on that chocolate. And who was that who said something? Alana, you're right. He's a sugar daddy and multiple baby daddy factor because you know they can't call PC men baby daddies. You're right about that. When I listen, you know what's so crazy? When I listened to her interview that she had with Tariq, she sounded like an airhead. Like, if you go and listen to that interview, like just type in Kim Klacik Tariq Nasheed on YouTube. She sounded like an airhead. Like, she talked like like, you know how you have some of those Valley girls? That's almost what she sounded like. She sounded like those black women that be on ghetto gaggers. Like, you can just say anything about her and she'll just laugh and say, oh my God, you're so funny. That's what I gather from her. But all they did was they polished her up, slapped the label of conservative on her, and then say, go to the baddest parts of Baltimore and say that you're a 45 supporter. She went out there and she really didn't talk about any policies that she had. She just basically said that use the typical PC talking points. And she got destroyed because I think she only got like 28% of the vote from people living in Baltimore. And I think Kwesi and Fume got like 76. She had no chance. So I'm glad that she's, that she didn't win. That's so far as the only person I was looking forward to losing in this entire election. But back to I just wanted to get that part out there. But back to the main event, because that's basically what we should call it at this point, is the main event with 45 and Joe Biden. But it's the supporters for the most part that are getting on my nerves. They are getting on my last damn nerves. And it looks more so from 45 side. I'm sure y'all have seen it, but you've had people out there outside of these places kneeling. I was like, first off, didn't you get on Colin Kaepernick for kneeling? Now you're out here kneeling and idol worshiping. They are literally doing everything in this week, in this 1 week, that they told us and everyone else who was agreeing with Colin Kaepernick not to do over the course of the last, 4 years? Yeah, Lana, I did see that, but I'm not surprised that he won. But they literally are doing the same exact thing. They're idol worshiping. And putting their hands on the glass. It looks real cultish. I have a video coming about that but if you can. It's probably gonna be uploaded tomorrow. But they, like I said, it looked real cult-like. Then you have, the more extremists talking about, what they plan on doing. That's why I told black people, y'all do not get comfortable. Joe Biden, as it stands right now, might be the new president. Do not get comfortable because they are on 1,000 right now, maybe over it. And yes, I've heard stories about them going to the polling sites with guns and everything. They want a civil war for real. But all I'm saying is just be careful out there because they are losing it if they ever had it. But they've been planning on doing something like this. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen tweets and posts talking about them doing something if the election doesn't go their way. You have people out here saying that this thing is rigged and all types of stuff like that. I said, if he was winning right now, would you have been saying that? That's what I'd like to know. Because what they're putting out there now, and I hate that they're doing this, is they're saying that they're talking about Stacey Abrams down in Georgia. Because as we know, Georgia has been for a while a red state. But they're saying that she helped push like 800,000 new voters and everything like that. And now they're propping her up there. Now they're back on this whole tip of, yep, a black woman is saving America yet again. I'm like, oh my God, here they go. Here they go. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Because what they really are going to say is, oh, a black woman is saving America, not them, those nakers. When they like to say that when they're talking about black men they don't like. They like saying that. I'm like, they always like to say black people are saving America, but America don't want to pay out them tangibles. But we supposed to be saving America. You said they setting her up for a cabinet position. I wouldn't be surprised. Appreciate you live from NYC. He says police are going to be looking for payback. Be safe out there, everyone. Right. And this is the thing. Now that they keep pushing out there that black people or black women are saving America, that's putting a target on our or their back. Because they know how black people vote in a block when it comes to Democrat for the most part. It's putting a target on black people's back. That's why I said y'all got to be careful with that. And we know how a lot of black people, some of them don't go to the range and some scared to even hold a gun. So you have to be very careful when you're doing something like that. And still remember that just because Joe Biden might get elected, the racism in this establishment does not just go away when he becomes the new president, or if he becomes the new president. It just doesn't go away. Pandora's box got opened in the last 4 years, and at this point, I don't think it's going to close anytime soon. Blasian Pikachu said, "Why is it black women's jobs to save everything?" Well, one thing I have to say about that statement you said. It shouldn't be black people's jobs to save anything in this establishment. Although we built it, all we want is what's old. But black women have to understand this. When you have been fed this narrative that you are the backbone of this and the backbone of that, they're always going to throw stuff your way. Appreciate you, Solo Dole. He says the snooze button will be broken under Biden. I hope not. They at this point, y'all might as well stay awake. You can't afford to go back to sleep. You can't even afford to take a cat nap. But back to what I was saying. When they put out there and said black women are the backbone of this and black women are the backbone of that, many of us were saying do not buy into that. That was a PC talking point. That was a PC talking point, and many fell for it. Harvey did a very good video about this yesterday. If y'all haven't gotten a chance, look at it. It was called Women. I think it was called something about Trump and female supporters. And he kind of talked about that. Because when I hear backbone, I hear mule. Who wants to be the mule? Now's not the time to be the backbone for anything, because that means you're going to have to take on the brunt force of your issues as well as everybody else's. And we have so much shit we got going on with us. We cannot afford to take on anybody else's problems. Because what happens is when we take on other people's problems, then we got to put our stuff further and further and further back on the back burner. And then before you know it, it never gets done. And they do that so we don't have to keep talking about reparations, tangibles. They hate that we get thrown all this stuff our way and we still go back to tangibles and reparations. That's a discussion at this point that's not going away. Appreciate you, See Truth the Revelator. He says they fell for it just like feminism. And it's biting them in the ass for those who fell for it. But shout out to the ones who have not. That's all we're saying. Don't fall for the BS. But unfortunately, too many have. And I have quite a few Twitter analysis coming up in the next couple of days that's going to echo just what I'm talking about and how reckless it is. One thing I wanted to show y'all, and some people mentioned it in the chat, is this video of the mushmouth, the Daffy Duck grifter known as Terrence K. Williams. This guy right here, it's funny. Trust and believe me, it's funny. It's hilarious. But I want y'all to see and hear this. Hold on.
Endorsed half of those people, and President Trump rallied for those people.
The cutoff is real. That's the part that made me laugh the most, was when the video got cut off right in the middle of his little his little minstrel rant, as I like to call it. And by the way, the music was not contributed by me. That is not my orchestra. This is off Tariq's Instagram page, so he provided the violins for that one. But yeah, that's Terrence K. Williams. Y'all know I struck up the violins for him. Was it last month or September? I forget what it was. But yeah, basically what you're seeing here when it comes to people like Terrence K. Williams is the fact that if 45 doesn't get reelected, people like Terrence K. Williams and the Coonstress and Brandon Fakum and the Hodge twins and Kubrick Zirconia and Polyester and all those other grifters, they're going to lose their position. And he's scared. That what you heard was fear coming out of him. That was fear of losing his spot. Now, I told people that no matter which way this election was going to go, people who are like what he's doing for 45 and like what others are doing for Joe Biden, no matter what, there's going to be some loss. There's going to be some job loss here. Now, it's going to shift from us having to deal with people like him to now dealing with people like Roland Martin on Twitter, which, by the way, he put up this tweet that somebody had tagged me in. Now, let me see if I can find it. So somebody tagged me in this tweet, and shout out to them, by the way, that Roland Martin put up about 5 hours ago. He said, "Good morning to all black people except the fake conscious folks who said don't vote in 2020. You can tell that was a subliminal jab at certain people we listen to." We know that was a jab to certain people that we listen to. But I'm not surprised that came out of his mouth. Because see, now they can, I guess you can say, hold on to their position, their little nigger trinket for now. But then I saw this very rather unflattering picture of Roland Martin on Twitter as well. Or maybe it was Instagram, I'm not sure. And let me show y'all. Look at Roland Martin. And that's not a photoshopped image, by the way. Look at it. Out there twerking for Zaddy on a golf course. This is actually one of the few times I actually see his neck. Sorry I had to hurt y'all eyes with that display of whatever you want to call it. And shout out to Gnome King for the super chat. He said he wasn't eating no fried chicken. I'm surprised. Oh, you talking about Terrence K. Williams? Yeah, he ain't eating no he wasn't stuffing his face with some greasy chicken this time. He's upset. Like I said, he's having a little minstrel rant. No, he said he was taking a jab at Phil. Oh. Well, I didn't know Phil was telling people not to vote. And he probably misconstrued what he said. He probably was telling them, like many of us were saying, don't vote if they're not, don't vote against your own interests, which is probably something many of us have all been saying. But see, their interest is only allegiance to the Democratic Party, even if the Democratic Party ain't doing shit for them. But yeah, Like I said, if 45 gets reelected, we're gonna have to deal with, pretty much what we've been dealing with for the last 4 years and all those grifters. But like I said, I was gonna find the humor in it either way. And that video I showed you of Terrence K. Williams was a perfect example of that. They are hurting right now. I actually said this a couple weeks ago. I said, I hope that they are packing their bags and they are ready to move on out of the big house because their days are numbered. Lamiko Cardenas said, did you check out the Candace Owens YouTube live feed yesterday? I don't check for her. If somebody sends something my way involving her and it's something I can be very petty about, then I'll address it. But I don't watch her, whatever. Well, humor me. What did she talk about? Like, is there something that she said that stuck out to you that should be addressed? Because, like I said, she's about to be out. I mean, her book can't sell. We've already established that. Like I said, their purpose is pretty much almost done. Like, where are they going to grift to now? They've already pigeonholed themselves into one box. They did not spread themselves out evenly or anywhere. They are stuck right where they are. And if they cannot stump for Trump anymore, where are they going to go? That's what I'd like to know. Where are they headed? Where can they slide to when it's all said and done? Noam King said, Phil was saying to black people that we need to hold our votes if they don't bring a plan to the table, but all people like Roland Martin here don't vote. Exactly. That's why I said I don't believe Phil actually said what Roland Martin was implying. I believe he said something like what you just said, Noam King, that, hold our votes, vote in our interest. But of course, they always hear, they either hear don't vote or that we're 45 supporters. You said you scroll through Brandon Fakum's Twitter timeline. He's throwing a tantrum too. He probably gonna have another roid rage like he did a couple months ago. Y'all remember when he had that outburst on that live stream a couple months ago, and the hood, quote unquote, came out of him. But yeah, they if like I said, if 45 loses this election, which at this point looks like it's probably going to happen, they're done. They're done. Wrap it up. You had a nice little run. Now what are you going to talk about? Like they shoehorned themselves into a box. They are literally a one-trick pony. They can't talk about anything else. They're either talking about 45 or black on black crime or how black people got to do this and black people got to do that. That's all they have. See, like people like myself who covers news, I can't be pigeonholed into a box because I talk about it all. And people saying right here in the chat, I'm certain black people was not telling other black people to not go vote. They said withhold your votes if they're not talking to you in your interest. Just like when Ice Cube said that he met with 45's people. First, they started off saying he met with 45, which was a lie. Then they said he was a Trump supporter, which was also a lie. That's the issue I have when it comes to the Democrats. Anyone seen? No, nobody's seen Oreo Clark Alana, and we don't want to see him. Unless it's at his funeral. And even then, I don't want to see him. It was something else that somebody said. Oh, you said you think that Roland Martin was talking about the black authority. Now that I can believe. I believe that more that he was directing that towards Jason Black rather than Phil. I don't really believe he came at Phil's neck with that. I think he more so Jason Black or Professor Black Truth or even Tariq, because they all three of them stay going in on Roland Martin all the time. But like I said, no matter which way this election went, I had smoke for both sides. And I think I addressed that early on. That no matter what the outcome was, whether it was from the left or the right, the liberal, the conservative, Democrat, Republican, I was prepared for whatever the outcome was going to be. And truth be told, I think that's how, and I can't speak for every black person, I think that's how most black people should have been. But, we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a very skewed, crooked one. So it is what it is. But this is going to be a very interesting rest of 2020 going into 2021. But I think this is probably going to be the end of my stream. This was the last topic I was talking about. Shout out to everybody who came through. We knocked another Friday down, many more to go. Shout out to everybody who donated. Shout out to everybody who liked the stream. Shout out to everybody who shared the stream. Y'all be safe out there, because these fools out here, if it's one thing that this election has proved, is that America harbors a lot of idiots. It does. 2020 is that year of exposure in more ways than one. But y'all be safe out there, because people are crazy. Saw a video where you had these Trump supporters or whoever they were out there messing with people, dumping urine and all kinds of shit. Probably shit as well. But it's looking real purgy these days. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and head on up out of here. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, even though it looks like the day is almost over because it's still early. But you know how,